There's a peculiar trick life plays on us fellas as we get older. It convinces us we've gone invisible. You know, like the world has traded in our worth for a younger, shinier model. Younger men strut about with their chiseled jaws and gym memberships, while we grumble over coffee about the good old days, certain that no one's paying us any mind. But here's the punchline. They are. You see, being an older man isn't the handicap society's been selling. Quite the opposite. Age bestows a kind of polish that younger men, bless their energetic little hearts, just can't fake. It's the polish of experience, maturity, and knowing when to keep your mouth shut. 3 qualities that, to a woman's mind, are rarer than a hen's tooth. While young bucks are busy flexing their muscles and tripping over their own insecurities, older men are more like oak trees, steady, rooted, and impossible to ignore. It's this quiet confidence, this ability to let the storm rage while you sip your whiskey, that women find irresistibly attractive. But the real kicker? Society's been whispering lies in your ear, telling you that grey hairs and slower steps mean you're past your prime. Hogwash. If anything, you're just hitting your stride. And today, we're peeling back the curtain to reveal why women can't help but take notice of a man who's learned how to age like fine whiskey instead of sour milk. What exactly makes an older man attractive? Well, stick around and we'll break it all down. By the time we're through, you'll not only see why you've got more to offer than you thought, you'll be chuckling at how blind you've been all along. 1. The power of eye contact. Now, let me tell you a truth as plain as the nose on your face. The eyes never lie. They're the most honest part of the human body, which is why they're so terribly inconvenient for poker players and politicians. And when it comes to attraction, those 2 little windows to the soul are downright traitorous. They'll spill the beans every time. Picture this. You're walking through a store, minding your own business, when something catches your eye. A fine pair of boots, maybe, or a jacket you didn't know you needed. What happens next? You keep looking, don't you? You glance back over your shoulder, as if the thing might vanish if you don't. Well, the same principle applies to people. When a woman finds you attractive, her eyes will give her away quicker than a bad alibi. She'll linger, just a second longer than necessary. Oh, she might try to play it off. Pretend she was looking at something behind you, but don't be fooled. That glance is her way of saying, well, hello there. Here's where it gets interesting. If she locks eyes with you and then looks down, breaking contact faster than a rabbit in a carrot patch, you're onto something. That little flicker of the eyes is what the experts call a submissive cue, but I prefer to think of it as nature's version of blushing. It's as if she's telling you, I see you, and now I'm pretending not to. But it doesn't stop there. Let's say you strike up a conversation. If she holds your gaze a beat longer than she has to, then drops it with a shy little smile, you, my friend, are in rare air. Women don't do that unless they're intrigued. It's not just polite manners, it's instinct. The science folks will tell you this is all about biology. Eye contact releases oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, which makes people feel connected even before a single word is spoken. But here's the kicker. It only happens if there's a spark of interest to begin with. So, the next time you catch a woman sneaking a glance your way, remember this. Her eyes are doing what her words won't dare to say. And don't just stand there like a deer in headlights. Smile back, maybe toss in a nod for good measure. You never know. It might just be the start of a conversation worth having. 2. The magic of a smile. Now, if the eyes are the window to the soul, the smile is the welcome mat. And let me tell you, there's no surer way to spot a spark of attraction than by paying attention to what a woman does with her lips. And no, I don't mean what you're thinking. A smile, my friend, can speak volumes before a single word is uttered. Scientists, clever devils that they are, have figured out that when two people like each other and make eye contact, a smile often sneaks in right behind it, as natural as day following night. What's more, this simple little act unleashes a flood of dopamine, what the lab coats like to call the feel-good hormone. But you don't need a degree to understand this. If her smile lights up the room when she looks your way, it's not because the lighting suddenly improved, it's because you are the reason for that dopamine rush. But here's where it gets even more interesting. If she laughs at your jokes, and I'm talking about those clunky one-liners you wouldn't dare tell in polite company, you've got yourself another clue. You see, when someone likes you, their brain goes into overdrive, making everything you say seem sharper, wittier, and downright brilliant. It's like they're wearing rose-coloured glasses, custom-fitted for your personality. Of course, the proof is in the pudding. Next time you're telling a joke, take a quick inventory of the room. Is she laughing more heartily than everyone else? Maybe leaning in a little closer, hanging on your every word? That's not coincidence, my friend. That's biology at work, whispering in her ear that you're worth paying attention to. Even if you're not the joking type, you can still measure her interest by how much of her attention you command in conversation. Women are master multitaskers. They can keep an eye on their surroundings while listening to someone talk about the weather. But when she's truly interested in you, it's like the rest of the world falls away. She's not just hearing you, she's listening. Why the subtlety, you ask? Well, women tend to keep their cards close to the chest when it comes to attraction. It's not shyness, it's strategy. Fear of rejection plays a role, sure, but so does the thrill of the chase. A smile here, a laugh there, it's all part of a delicate dance as old as time. So, if you catch her smiling more brightly than a summer sunrise and laughing at jokes that barely qualify as humour, take it as a sign. You, my friend, have made an impression. And trust me, there's no better compliment than knowing you've brightened someone's day just by being yourself. 3. She notices the little things. Now, let me tell you, one of the greatest mysteries of the universe isn't out there in the stars. It's right here on Earth, nestled in the mind of a woman who's paying attention to you. You may think you're coasting through life unnoticed, but if she's interested, she's got an eagle eye on you. Women, you see, have a knack for details that would make Sherlock Holmes hang up his hat in envy. When a woman likes you, she'll remember things you've long since forgotten. What you ordered for lunch 3 weeks ago, the name of your childhood dog, or that offhand remark you made about wanting to learn guitar someday. It's as if she's running a mental ledger, cross-referencing every tidbit of information to see if you're as consistent as you seem. And don't think for a second she won't call you out if your stories don't add up. She's not just listening, she's analysing. This attention to detail isn't random. Oh no, it takes effort, a whole lot of it. Her brain's burning calories tracking your quirks and cataloguing your life story, all while the rest of the world fades into the background. When she asks about that project you mentioned or remembers your dentist appointment better than you do, it's not just politeness. It's focus, plain and simple. But here's where it gets even more fascinating. If she starts giving you advice, you've officially hit the jackpot. And no, I don't mean nagging about how you load the dishwasher. I mean thoughtful, well-intentioned advice, like nudging you toward a career opportunity, or encouraging you to finally take that trip you've been daydreaming about. This isn't meddling. It's her way of showing she cares. She wants to see you win, and she's offering her 2 cents to help make it happen. Contrast this with indifference. If a woman doesn't care, she won't bother contributing to your life. No suggestions, no insights, no attention to the finer points of your existence. She might smile politely and nod along, but that's about as far as it'll go. When a woman pays attention to the details, it's her way of saying, "You matter to me." And when she goes a step further and actively tries to make your life better, well, that's not just attraction, it's investment. So, next time you find yourself wondering if she's into you, ask yourself this: does she notice the little things? Because if she does, you've got more than a passing fancy on your hands. You've got a real connection brewing. 4. She puts herself in your future. The mysterious workings of a woman's mind. Fascinating, intricate, and often 2 steps ahead of yours. One of the clearest signs she's sweet on you is when she starts imagining herself in the story of your life. Not as a passing character, mind you, but as the co-star. You see, women are natural storytellers, weaving plots and futures that make the most seasoned novelist look like an amateur. When she's drawn to you, her imagination gets to work, and suddenly, she's writing you into her future chapters. Now, this might sound subtle at first. Maybe she wonders aloud where you'd both retire someday. Or she casually tosses out a line like, "I've always thought Maine would be a great place to live. What about you?" Make no mistake, my friend, she's not talking about Maine. She's testing the waters to see if her vision of the future happens to match yours. What makes this so telling is that women generally avoid such conversations unless they're feeling a spark. You won't catch her daydreaming about future plans with a man she doesn't see as, well, her man. But if she's drawn to you, the floodgates open, and she begins to share her hopes, her dreams, and the kind of life she envisions. A life where you just so happen to be a permanent fixture. Pay attention to the roles she casts you in. Are you the daring adventurer by her side on a trip to Paris? The calm and steady partner helping her plant a garden in the spring? Or maybe the one grilling burgers at a backyard barbecue while she picks out the perfect playlist? These little glimpses aren't just idle chatter, they're windows into her heart. And here's the kicker. The more she likes you, the more you'll find yourself featured in these stories. Women don't just think about the present, they think ahead, planning and imagining, especially when romance is in the air. If you're starring in her imaginary future, it's safe to say you've made a lasting impression. So, when she starts dreaming out loud, take note. It's one of the surest signs she sees you not just as someone she likes, but as someone worth building a future around. And let me tell you, there's no greater compliment than being written into the chapters of someone's life story. 5. You become a beacon of trust. In a world where trust is as scarce as hen's teeth, being the man she turns to when the chips are down is no small feat. Let me tell you, my friend, trust isn't handed out like candy on Halloween. It's earned, often the hard way. For a woman to see you as her go-to confidant, her wise counsel, and her emotional harbor, she has to believe you're different. Different from the smooth-talking charmers who promise the moon but deliver a pocketful of dust. You see, modern women have grown wary, and rightly so. They've learned to navigate a world where many men are more interested in conquest than connection. So when she starts trusting you, not just with her stories, but with her questions, her uncertainties, her plans, that's when you know you've crossed into rare territory. She might come to you with a dilemma, perhaps one she's already solved in her mind, but she'll ask for your take anyway. Why? Because she values your opinion, yes, but also because she's testing your mettle. Women, clever creatures that they are, often do this to see if your advice aligns with her best interests or just your own. If she's asking you whether she should pursue a promotion, invest in a new venture, or even pick out a paint color for her living room, don't be fooled into thinking it's a casual question. Oh no, she's sizing you up, my friend, and trying to discern if you're the kind of man who truly listens and cares. Now, if she likes what she hears, she'll trust you more deeply. But here's the catch. Don't overdo it. Women respect a man who values her autonomy, not one who tries to run her life. The quickest way to lose her admiration is to act like you know better than she does about her own affairs. Instead, offer thoughtful input and let her steer the ship. She'll appreciate your steady hand on deck, not an attempt to take the wheel. This newfound trust isn't just about advice, though. It's about the space you create for her to be vulnerable, to share her fears and dreams without judgment. When she comes to you, she's signaling something profound. That you're not just some passing fancy, but someone she sees as a pillar in her life. So, when she turns to you for guidance, remember, it's not only about the words you say, it's about the trust you've cultivated, the respect you've earned, and the care you've shown. And if you can navigate this with grace, my friend, you'll not only have her trust, you'll have her admiration too. 6. She starts playing games. Now, let me tell you, just because you're a man of age, wisdom, and purpose doesn't mean you're off the hook when it comes to the games women play. Oh no, sir. If anything, your maturity and focus make you an even more intriguing puzzle for her to solve. You see, women have an uncanny knack for testing a man's mettle, like a jeweler inspecting a diamond to see if it's the real deal. It's not out of malice, mind you, it's in their nature. The moment she realizes you're attractive, and she will sooner or later, don't expect her to simply swoon and fall into your arms like a character from a cheap romance novel. No, my friend, she'll put you through your paces. She might ignore your text messages, throw a wrench into your plans, or toss out a casual remark that feels like a challenge wrapped in a riddle. Why? Because she wants to see if you're made of sterner stuff. If you're the kind of man who stays true to his course or one who veers off at the first sign of a detour. And here's the kicker. She's not testing you because she doubts you. She's testing you because she likes you. A man who's driven, purposeful, and unshaken by distractions is like a flame to a moth. She wants to know if you'll stay the course even when she's fluttering around, trying to catch your attention. Now, here's where most men trip over their own shoelaces. The moment they catch wind that a woman's interested, they drop everything, dreams, goals, plans, the works, and focus solely on her. It's like throwing your compass overboard because you're too busy looking at the stars. And what happens then? Well, she stops being interested. Not because she's cruel, but because she sees you've lost what made you attractive in the first place. Your purpose. A man on a mission is irresistible because he's not easily swayed. He knows what he wants and won't let anyone, not even a captivating woman, pull him off track. Women admire a man who's willing to include them in his life, but not revolve his world entirely around them. So when she plays these little games, take it as a compliment. She's saying, "Prove to me that you're the steadfast captain of your own ship." The trick, my friend, is to hold the line. Acknowledge her, appreciate her, but don't abandon your goals. When she sees that you can stay focused, she'll admire you even more. And trust me, nothing is more attractive than a man who knows where he's headed and invites her to come along for the journey without losing sight of the horizon. 7. She invites you into her personal life. Now we've come to the grand finale, the big one. The sign that tells you everything you need to know about where you stand with her. And let me tell you, this is a rare treasure, like finding a diamond in a pile of gravel. You see, women are notoriously protective of their personal lives. They've got walls higher than a Mississippi steamboat's smokestack, especially as they grow older. And why not? They've got a lot more at stake. Friends, family, expectations. And they're not keen on letting just anyone waltz through the door and start poking around in their business. Now, if she's letting you in, that's no small thing. She's inviting you into the very heart of her world, the place where the real magic happens. Her friends, her family, her little quirks, and her weaknesses. All of it. And let me tell you, this is one of the most powerful signs that she's not just interested, she's invested. But don't go thinking you've got it made just yet. When she starts introducing you to her circle, that's when the real test begins. Women, bless their hearts, have friends who are more judgmental than a cat in a room full of vacuum cleaners. If you can win over her inner circle, her family, and all the folks who know her best, you will see the attraction go through the roof. Why? Because you've passed the final trial. You've earned the right to be a part of her life. And that makes you not only the most attractive man in her eyes, but the most important one too. So, if she's bringing you into her world, you're golden. You've made it, my friend. Now all you've got to do is keep being the man she's fallen for. And that, my dear fellow, is a task worth taking on. So, there you have it, gentlemen. 7 surefire signs that you're an attractive older man. Now, I'm not saying that you'll be knocking them dead with your charm at every corner. But if you've seen some of these signs creeping up in your life, well, let's just say the old ship still got some sail left, and it's time to steer it toward a more exciting horizon. Don't let society's nonsense fool you into thinking you've passed your prime. Sometimes the best years are ahead of you, not behind. But before you go puffing up your chest like a rooster in a henhouse, I've got one last thing for you. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell like it's your ticket to the good life. And hey, if you've spotted any of these signs in your own life or got a story about your experience, I'd love to hear it. Drop a comment below. Share your thoughts, your wisdom, or even just your opinion. Let's get this conversation rolling and make sure we're all living our best lives. Because after all, if we can't enjoy life with a little humor, what's the point? See you in the next video, folks. Until then, keep your chin up and your game sharp.